Well, holy guacamole, folks. Look at that pump right there. Jerry the Turtle. It is up 131% for the week. My God, dude. So what's going on, you guys? I'm Code Monkey Mike, and today I'm going to be breaking down a bunch of stuff about Jerry the Turtle. I guess a lot of this is going to be spawning from a conversation in my Discord when I had with one of my members. Well, a couple of my members. One of them said he was surprised about how I think that Jerry the Turtle might have more potential than Broke. And I'm really heavily invested in Broke, but I'm going to get into that in a second. Let's break this down. Let's talk about Jerry the Turtle and how awesome this freaking play is. First things first, this is a disclaimer. Nothing is financial advice, and this is just entertainment. Just yesterday, I was in a comment thread with somebody, a couple of people on one of my other videos, where he said that in the past, my videos seemed to be more like I looked like I was on meth and I was playing annoying sounds, but now my videos are more detailed. Well, here's an annoying sound for you. I don't know what to do about the meth, man. Meth Monkey Mike. Anyways, Jerry the Turtle, freaking Jerry the Turtle, awesome play. I think this is one of the best mat-free plays out there for now, for this cycle. I was like, maybe even second to Pepe. Awesome graphics that they make. Awesome team. They're getting centralized exchanges. Like, phenomenal team. Seems like they it seems like they know their stuff and they know exactly what they're doing. I think that Jerry the Turtle's potential is absolutely insane, right? So you got Pepe, which is basically a safe play, right? You have Brett. When I compare Jerry the Turtle with Brett, I mean, I think that, Jerry the Turtle has more potential in terms of pumping potential, in terms of the amount of money you can make, right? Let's say you get like a 20 or 30x out of Brett, but you might get like a 200 to 300x out of Jerry the Turtle just because of the market cap and where it is right now, right? So it could very well go into the billions. It could be 5-10 billion. It could be up there. You never know. So one of the things I wanted to touch on, which is why I think that Jerry the Turtle might have more potential than Broke, and this is a might. This is a in quotes might, is that I was explaining this in the previous video where last cycle we had this whole Inu craze and everybody's just coming into the market. We're getting, new market participants and they want to buy the hype and they're looking around for what to buy. And a few of them I pointed out last cycle, there were a bunch of Inus that never got any centralized exchanges that pumped to over $1 billion. Like, look at this one. This came out of nowhere in April 2021, right? And then a month later in May, this is Hishu Inu. It's at 2 billion, right? These are weekly candles right here, right? So look at this wick right up here, 2 billion. And then it pumped again in November as well. Same thing happened with this other one right here called Akita Inu. So this launched in February 2021. It went up over here to this top in April, right? The 825 million. And then later on, like a month later in May, look at this wick right here. It's at 3 billion. So this could happen with all the hype and the craze surrounding Mad Fury. Everybody's going to come into the market, look for Mad Fury coins, look for what to buy. They're going to see the hype, right? Jerry the Turtle, I think, is really has one up on that because they are getting tons and tons of centralized exchanges. Look at right here. We have their X profile right here, and they just got CoinX, right? They got, like nonstop. Yeah, right here. Look at this. Amazing content. Yeah, absolutely amazing content. Yeah, they're not only do they post graphics, they post animations and videos and so on, which shows a certain heightened level of effort. And yeah, I just think it's absolutely phenomenal. I think it's one of the best. I think that you're going to see a lot of pumps out of a lot of the Matt Furie coins, and this is going to be one of them. There's going to be a few others. There could be others, more obscure coins that are Matt Furie related that could pump and get you many, many multipliers. The bread on ETH, not on base, bread on ETH could pump. It could pump very well to 1 billion. You never know. You could get like 100x out of it. I think bread on ETH is around 10 million right now. So, and even more obscure ones. There was one called Bubba. They haven't been making too much content recently, but Bubba was making some good content. Supposedly, Pepe's long lost love. It's like a real degen play. I think it's like, could be like under 100K right now, maybe like 50K. But you might get many multipliers out of that just because of the hype. Now, on the flip side, this is like the bullish case scenario. Now let's talk about the bearish case scenario. Now, one of my members in this discussion in my Discord said that people might come into the market. You get retail coming in. All these people don't know about crypto, and they're coming into the market for the first time, and they want to buy the hype, but they have no idea. They might not have any idea what Matt Furie is, right? And I think about that too, because like what he said, that there's people that he knows that they don't know anything about crypto, and they never heard of Matt Furie. So what if this hype doesn't happen? Then you get a bearish case scenario, or Jerry the Turtle might not get to 10, 15 billion in market cap. It might go to under 1 billion or something like that. So you still, either way, you're looking pretty good, right? You're looking pretty good because right now it's a 12 million market cap. So even in the bearish case scenario, you put down $1,000, you're looking at 6 figures right there. You're going to multiply pretty damn good. Again, not financial advice, but and I was thinking back to when I first heard of Matt Furie, and I was thinking about it. I first heard of Matt Furie during the previous bull cycle, but I would say more targeted around the previous Trump administration, because there was a alternative social network that was gaining a lot of hype back then, because a lot of people were being banned from the regular social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and this was gaining a lot of traction. And it was called Gab right here, and they'd use a logo that was similar. It was a frog, and it sort of stemmed from the whole Pepe thing. And I remember there were these protests in Hong Kong right before the pandemic, right? So the lockdowns in the US were like end of March, right? But the lockdown started happening in like end of or mid sort of like January in China. And then they shortly afterwards happened in Hong Kong. So there were a lot of protests in Hong Kong, and the protestors protestors, or whatever you want to say, were using the Pepe logo as their symbol. And then the media, which is clueless as usual, right? So the libertarians and the people who wanted freedom from government and, non-interference from government, just they can just live their lives and not have to worry about being told what to do, totalitarianism and all that other craziness that just spirals out of control. Eventually, if you just keep on giving in to the government, they keep on taking. So that was being used by the whole like libertarian mindset, at least in the US and I guess around the world. And the protesters in Hong Kong were adopting that logo, the Pepe logo. And the media was saying that they don't understand why they're doing that, because they want to fight against the CCP, the communists, from taking control. And they're using Pepe, which is a far right white nationalist racist meme, and you have everybody else saying the media is like freaking clueless, like where are they even getting this? So like they have no idea what they're talking about. And then I remember there was going around in the news how the creator of this Pepe logo, this Pepe character, Matt Furie, of course, was coming out and saying he doesn't know why they're using his symbol. Like, he's not a conservative. He has doesn't care about, all this stuff that's going on in terms of politics. He doesn't want to get involved. And if anything, he's more left leaning and things like that. So he's not, he's like, he has no clue about why this is his character was adopted in that regard. So that was like the only time I would have heard of Matt Furie, if not for crypto, right? But I do know that there was a Pepe coin. I just I don't know how far back Pepe coin goes, but like it was like way back, and I never cared about it. I was like, Pepe coin. I'm like, it's sort of dumb because it's sort of like for me, it was like sort of an alignment with like something political, Pepe coin. So I didn't want to buy into any coin like that because I was like, okay, it's not going to go anywhere. But anyways, that's the whole bearish case scenario, and that's where the whole Pepe thing came from. Now, will the normies buy into it when they flood into the market and they start buying? I think they will. I think we're more bullish than bearish. So I was just throwing it out there and just giving you my backstory about how I came to know about Matt Furie and so on. But so just some alpha. Like I said, if that happens, anything Matt Furie related is just going to pump. It's just going to pump like crazy. People are going to buy Pepe. They're going to buy Brett. They're going to buy Jerry the Turtle. They're going to start pouring into the other tokens. There's going to be influencers talking about all the other Matt Furie related tokens out there. They're going to say, okay, Andy and Lamb Wolf, they're in the boys club. And then Bird Dog is part of the whole boys club, and they're he's not one of the top four, but he's one of the main characters in the boys club book and so on. So Bird Dog is going to pump. Then you're going to get a few others like Hoppy, and Hoppy might get a mild revival and so on, and a whole bunch of others. Yeah, that's it, guys. I just wanted to come in and give you my thoughts about Jerry the Turtle, JYAI. Here's an annoying sound for you.